Welcome. Welcome to Pepster's Place. The episode 1, the very first episode, August 5th, 2022. Your host name is John Pep. That's me. Okay, let me get a little background of yours truly. I'm 57 years old. I went to Livonia Franklin and graduated in 1983. I went to Schoolcraft College for a couple years in the early 80s. Well, obviously after 83. I was trying it out for, not trying out, but I was going for a computer degree. I think they called it computer science. But life got in the way, and I didn't take my studies that serious. So I kind of floundered for 20 years. Let's see. 2009 was when I went back to college, which would make me in my 40s when I went back to college. This time I went for an associate degree. But let me go back further in time. I graduated in 83. But during high school, I had probably one of the first computer courses offered. They had a bunch of Apple IIc computers in the computer lab. I learned Apple Basic on that computer. Then after high school, I went to Schoolcraft College. I probably said that already. Get my age, 57, you start repeating yourself. My first computer was a Commodore 64. And my friends had a Amiga 500. And my another friend, a real good friend, had a Atari 400. And I think another friend had an Atari 400, or it could have been an Atari 800. Oh, God. I remember we used to play D&D. Oh, by the way, this podcast is about computers, obviously, computer programming, photography, because web design, web development, Lego, which is a hobby of mine, and I will show you my Lego stuff in later episodes. I said photography, web design, web development, and practically everything else. I'll even talk about the CPAP machine that I use for my sleep apnea at night for people who have sleep apnea. And practically everything else. Excuse me for 1 second. I have to itch my nose. I'll probably edit that out. I don't know. Let's see. A lot of dead air. Sorry about that. Where was I? Oh, yeah. My friend's computers. And I remember going over my friend who had the Atari 400, and we would go on bulletin board services, which we call BBSs, That was before the World Wide Web, internet, Facebook, and what have you. And yeah, they have where you could download files. We call it play games. I mean, uh, games today that young people would laugh at. Like, I mean, it was like text adventures and we call it very primitive graphics and stuff like that. But those type of games you'd have to download. The games you could play online were like text adventure games and very rude. We call it. If you did play it online, it was text based, very crude graphics, and they had like chat boards and message boards. A lot of them were called forums. They mostly were like a precursor to like Facebook and all that. A lot of people don't realize that us old fogies would go to forums and I mean, they still have them on the web, tech forums and stuff like that. And that's sometimes I wish like Facebook was more organized in the forums instead of this free for all. Well, they do have groups, but yeah, they're starting to get more like that with groups. But it'd still be nice to be able to like leave messages in certain categories and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm digressing really bad. It's my first video too. A little background on me. Like I said, I went to college for a couple years in the early '80s, and I was going for a computer science degree. I took a bunch of programming languages like Pascal, Fortran, C. What else? But then I stopped going to college and because I got one of my first jobs. My first job was working at a movie theater as a doorman. Well, that's what the manager of the place called us. Well, most people call them ushers, but we were called doormen. And met a lot of good friends there. I worked at the Terrace Theater, which is in Livonia, which was in Livonia, Michigan. It was two big screens. They don't make movie theaters like that anymore. It was real fun. The old type movie projectors that you see in the movies, and I met a lot of good friends there, like I said, and it was fun working there. My first real good paying job, well, my first real good paying job was working at Red Spot Paint, where I ended up working as a technician / shader, which, a shader is a person who matches the color to the OEM standard, to like Ford, GM, and stuff like that have their standards, and we would have to match the paint to those standards. My plant mainly did the interior paint, and I know a lot of people are saying there's no paint inside the car. Well, there is paint inside your interior. A lot of it now is in-molded paint, which we got into towards the end of before I got laid off. We were making in-molded paint, which is kind of a neat process. Well, anyways, I'm really digressing. Well, I still like getting my background. I worked there for about 19, close to 20 years before I was laid off. I decided to go back to school and get an associate degree, which I did get an associate degree in computer graphics. I think it was interactive game design. It was game design and interactive media, like navigations, menus, and what have you. Basically, it's just like a pure graphics degree, associate degree. It's still good. And after that, well, while doing that, and a little bit afterwards, I took like photography courses, Photoshop courses, which is kind of funny because I actually took my Photoshop courses before I took my photography course. And then I took web design, which had a little bit of like, I learned, web design included like learning how to use HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. But then on my own, I learned PHP, object-oriented programming, I really learned vanilla JavaScript, and I even made my websites. My first website was Pepster's Place, which is what this channel is called Pepster's Place, and my current website is phototechguru.com. PHOTOGURUTECH.com. I'll post a link up somewhere on this video. Whoops, where am I? Oops. Oh boy. Hold on for 1 second here. I was double checking my website address. Anyways, Phototech Guru. I even said it wrong, I think. It's Phototech Guru. PHOTTECHGURU.com. Like I said, I'll post it on the video somewhere. Well, and then let's see. I'm trying to think here now. Where was I? I took motion graphics courses in college where I learned After Effects. I'm pretty good at that. But now I'm using the Apple computers, which is Apple Motion, and instead of Premiere, I'm using Final Cut Pro 10, which I really like. I like motion graphics, but I haven't dabbled that in too much. But I will when I make an intro to my website to this video channel. Let's see. Photography. Yeah, I got into photography in 2006, 2009. I think it was 2006. My first camera was a Nikon D80. I still have that. It still works. I think it was a 12 megapixel camera. For its time, it had pretty good resolution. Today, people will laugh at because I think the 24 is the base resolution for megapixels. And then in 2018 or 2019, I switched over to Sony and mirrorless cameras, and my real first serious cameras, serious pro camera if you can call it that. I mean, that's what they call it. And I bought the Sony A7R3. Then about a year, I ended up buying a Sony A9 because the Sony A9 had 20 frames per second for taking pictures. It was faster taking pictures on that. And both of them have electronic shutters. The A7R3 I use for high resolution, and then the A9 I used for, I think that was a 40 megapixel camera. I could be wrong about that. 40 or 42, I mean, somewhere around there. And Sony A9 I think, is a 24 megapixel camera. And I still have that, but I sold a Sony A7 III because I wanted a camera that was good at high resolution and good at on speed, like 30 frames per second. And I had a bunch of glass for the Sony, so I bit the bullet. Probably shouldn't have, but I bought myself a Sony A1. And I will be showing my images and because in my because and how I take my pictures and stuff like that, and my computer set up. We're trying out right now. I'm using the Apple Mac Studio Max. And I'll get more into my computers and stuff like that in later broadcast. Let's see. I'm probably boring a whole bunch of people right now. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I said, this podcast ain't going to be all about computers. It's not going to be all about photography. I mean, it's going to have other things like Lego and we call it. I will get into aspects of my life. Like I have a sleep apnea, which is when a person is sleeping and they actually stop breathing for about 5 to 10 seconds before they start breathing. And that can become really dangerous after a while because what happens is not only can a person's heart actually stop if you don't start breathing again, but during the day, you're really tired. I mean, you want to fall asleep. I mean, I was like taking naps. And being really tired in the morning and having no energy. So my primary doctor said, well, she said, well, you probably have sleep apnea. And I said, well, what's sleep apnea? And that's what she said it was. And she said, I said, why do you think I had that? She says, well, you have like a short neck. If you can tell, I kind of have a short neck. Well, anyways, so I, about 2 or 3 visits later, I kind of was like, okay, I'll have I'll do a sleep study, which you have to do in order to be officially diagnosed with sleep apnea. And so I did a sleep test, and they said, yep, you have sleep apnea. So they prescribed not prescribed, but I guess you could say prescribed a CPAP machine, CPAP. Don't ask me what it stands for. I'll get back to you on that. But what it does is I have a full mask, and I put it on at night, and I wear it during the night. And what it does is it helps you breathe. And so if I'm dreaming and stuff like that, and and we call it stop breathing. The thing will say, "Hey, he's not breathing. Let's help him breathe," which it does. And not only is that beneficial, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like everybody else. When you first wake up, you're kind of like groggy, but I have a whole bunch of energy in the morning, and I'm not falling asleep, which I think it can be dangerous because if you're driving somewhere and you're feeling tired and sleepy, you might go to sleep. Falling asleep at the wheel can be very dangerous, not only for you but others on the road. So if you suspect that you have sleep apnea, or if your doctor suspects that you have sleep apnea, don't take it lightly, because it's no joke. I probably will be wearing the mask for a good while. I probably will never get off the CPAP machine, because supposedly I have a short neck. But I tell you what, though, it helps me out. Like, I have an energy in the morning, and not only that, is I have energy in the morning, and I'm trying to, and losing weight will help. And your CPAP machine is not going to make you lose weight, but it will help you be more energetic in helping you lose weight by when you exercise. Like, I exercise by I try to take a 3-mile walk every day, and I've been trying to watch what I eat and drink. I stopped drinking pop before. I stopped drinking pop altogether, and I've been pop free. Okay, for those who are not from the Midwest, pop is soda. For the last 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer. But it's been quite a while since I had a pop. I think the last time I had a pop was sometime in January. Anyways, but I've been trying to watch what I eat. I don't have any. I try not to have too many sweets, although I do have a sweet tooth. I have to admit that. Anyways, I'm really going off tangent with this, and I'll get more onto the sleep apnea in other videos. And Lego, like I said, hobby, and my exercising and what I'm trying to eat, my photography, web design, web development. The one thing I will not do is I won't do product reviews or benchmarks. What I mean by product reviews, I won't do computer reviews. I might say, oh yeah, I like this Apple Studio. It's a really nice computer. But I won't do any benchmarks or bore you with benchmarks or the specs like that. There are plenty of videos on the YouTube and other places on the web that you can find that information out, and a lot of these people do a much better job than I will ever do. So, like I said, this is my first video. It's rough. It's not polished, and it's kind of off the cuff. It'll never be totally scripted, but I'll have notes and stuff like that, or a general outline what I want to talk about. So I'm going to cut. I've been talking for about 25 minutes now, or so. So I'm going to call it quits and say, enjoy the rest of the day, and carpe diem. I think I pronounced it as. It means seize the day. Goodbye.